Oh, let me try it now.
Glad you're here with us this beautiful, beautiful Sunday morning. And yes, that was a medley of songs from Mary Poppins because we are in the month of play. The March is the month of play, and there's a theme that says something about a spoonful of humor, so that's why I put a spoonful of sugar in there. So, you know.
And let's go fly a kite.
Let's go fly a kite. There you go, all the fun stuff. So we'd like you to join in the fun, and please stand and sing along with Wade and Kimberly. Out there in video land too, hello to you. And it's a song called I'm Choosing Heaven. We're still choosing it. We like it.
I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. Singing, I'm choosing heaven today.
Choose joy.
I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing joy today. I am walking the road of heaven right now. Singing, I'm choosing joy today.
Choose love.
I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing joy today.
Choose beauty.
I'm choosing beauty today. I'm choosing beauty today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing beauty today.
Choose peace.
I'm choosing peace today. I'm choosing peace today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing peace today.
Back to heaven.
I'm choosing heaven today. Oh, I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today.
Yes, give yourself a hand. That was beautiful. Good morning, beloved spiritual family. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in beautiful San Clemente. Have anybody seen the news about back east? Ice storms and cyclones and freezing rain and gosh. And here we are in our beautiful 72 degrees weather. Sorry out there. Our friend Mary lives in Arkansas, and she sent me a picture of some snow on the ground. And I'm going, yeah, well, it's 72 here today, so very good. And we are grateful to be here. And whoever you are and whatever path you're on, you are welcome here. This is our home, and we love you. So we start the service every Sunday with the flames of faith. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people, all faiths, come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and the practices of all indigenous peoples. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and the path of peace. We light the candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And as practitioner, Paula Manis lights that last candle. Please let it represent the path that brought you here this morning.
Good morning, fellow individuations of the divine. This morning, let's do a global peace prayer. I'm going to ask you to participate a little bit, knowing that there is only one power, and that power is the epitome of peace in the world. That power is the one that can make everything new, everything perfect again. And knowing that we are all part of that. We are all points of light within a greater light. So this morning, I'm going to ask you to use the light that resides in each and every one of us. So just picture in this moment a globe of the world in front of you. And please take your light, your God light, and place it up on the globe, northernmost hemisphere to southernmost hemisphere. And in that band of light, place peace, love, compassion, acceptance, and any other beautiful thoughts that you might have personally. And once they're there, start to spin your globe all around the world with peace and love and acceptance. Because this is truly the way it is in our world. Even though we see the news come on, we know that the underlying truth is absolute peace and tranquility. So as you come around your circumference back to home, just know that you have made a difference in the world today. And let's bring it forward into our week and see what we can accomplish just with this incredible prayer. Thank you. And I give great thanks for each and every one of you, for the life we have, for the knowledge we have, for the truth we know. So I release this prayer into divine law, knowing it is already so. And please anchor it with me by saying, and so it is. Okay, please let's join together and do our affirmation. Laughter reveals my wholeness, and so it is. And now our declaration of principles. I believe in God, the one creative intelligence, operating through the universe and operating throughout my entire being, now and always. I believe this perfect spirit operates on the law of mind and creates my experience exactly according to my belief. I believe this perfect creative intelligence can be used by me and by every other person to produce health, abundance, and love in mind, body, and total life experience. I use it now, and I rejoice in it, and so it is.
Thank you, Paula. Oh, it's such a great joy to introduce this gentleman. And now, please welcome Michael Giamani to our platform.
Poor Michael. It's, you know, when you have long Italian names, sometimes they get mispronounced. Garamoni.
This song is called Cheer Up. Cheer up, 'cause nothing really matters when you look up into outer space. It's a great big world and there's no need to cry. Cheer up, we're all in this together to the reaches of the galaxy. And my best friend says he came from the sky. He traveled to the Earth aboard a pink spaceship. It's hard for him to hide behind those eyes. Cheer up, the atoms in your body are as old as every dinosaur. You're a special part of one big grand design. Cheer up, we're all in this together to discover what we're living for. 13 billion years and there's still time. Every night I wish upon a star so bright, waiting for the others to arrive. Cheer up, 'cause nothing really matters when you look up into outer space. It's a great big world and there's no need to cry. Cheer up, the others. And my best friend says he came from the sky. He traveled to the Earth aboard a pink spaceship. It's hard for him to hide behind those eyes. Cheer up, 'cause nothing really matters when you look up into outer space. It's a great big world and there's no need to cry. 13 billion years and there's still time. 13 billion years and there's still time. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. I'm interested in knowing more about your best friend.
As soon as he gets here.
Okay. Very good. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm Alice Reed, and I am the spiritual director here this morning, and I'm really happy to be with you. Cheer up, because nothing really matters. Whew. Let me think here. We are working with this theme this year of living everyday wonder. And you may be wondering, where is that everyday wonder, right? When you look out in the world and you see what's happening around us. And then in the month of March, we have this great theme that was planned. You know, these themes, we do these a year ahead of time, right? And so we thought March would be a great time to talk about spring and play. And today's talk topic of a Spoonful of humor is the medicine. Wonderful, absolutely, humor is really important. And it's a reach sometimes, isn't it? It feels like a reach for me. If you were hoping for a little stand-up, you've got the wrong sister. My sister was a stand-up comedian for 15 years, and I used to say that I was the audience. That was her professional traveling audience. Whenever she was around, you could hear my laughter well off in the audience as I would just, have good, strong belly laughs to all her jokes. And I had to be careful what I told her because sometimes I'd end up in her routine. There was the one. No, we're not going to go there. I do want to talk a little bit about how, things are challenging right now. There's we're 2 years now dealing with pandemic, and we have I want to collect myself for a minute. Because these numbers are pretty horrendous, we've lost 6 million people worldwide to the COVID virus. Just under 1 million in our own backyard. We've dealt with isolation, which creates real trauma. It's like the pandemic is the perfect recipe for the challenges that people have had to face in the world. And now we have war, right? There is a full-blown war going on in Eastern Europe and Russia, and people are suffering. And so, yeah, humor is a reach when those kind of things are happening. But what I want to share with you, there was one of my colleagues, her pianist is actually from Ukraine, and she talks to her family quite regularly. And she shared this, that many of her family members are still living there, and how the little everyday joyful exchanges that they might have with each other in amongst the challenges and the real life terror that's happening there are the things that really help them to move forward, to work with each other, to love each other. I want to do a little experiment with you. And this is the cue for the folks with the slides, not yet. Check into your body temple right now. Feel how your body feels. Feel the things that are going through your mind as I talk about the heavy things that are happening. And take note of that. Because what I know is that sometimes we need a little relief. We need a little break. Roberto Benite, if I pronounce his name correctly, Roberto Benite, no, that's not, I don't have his name right, and I'm going to get it right for you. Roberto Benigni, who wrote and starred in and directed the movie Life is Beautiful, after getting a lot of criticism for that movie, where there was an interesting take on being in a concentration camp. He played an Italian Jewish father who ended up in a concentration camp with his son, and he made the concentration camp, he played it as a game with his son. He told his son that if he followed all the rules, he would get points. If he would hide, if he would be quiet, if he wouldn't complain about his hunger, if he got enough points, he would get a tank. And so throughout the whole movie, you have this juxtaposition of the horror of a concentration camp and of the father who's playing this game to protect his son, right? So he's joyful to him, even though his heart is breaking. And there was a lot of criticism of that movie, and when Roberto Benigni was asked about that, he explained his philosophy and he said, to laugh and to cry come from the same point of the soul. So I want to continue with this experiment a little bit, and so I want to invite the tech team to bring up the next slide, because we're looking at this spoonful of humor from church bulletins. So the first one, these actually came directly from announcements and church bulletins. The first one is, the sermon this morning, Jesus walks on water. The sermon tonight, searching for Jesus. Ladies, don't forget the rummage sale. It's a chance to get rid of those things not worth keeping around the house. Don't forget to bring your husbands. Somebody wants to bring their husband, huh? At the evening service tonight, the sermon topic will be, what is hell? Come early and listen to our choir practice. Not our choir. Don't let worry kill you off. Let the church help you. Low self-esteem support group will meet Thursday at 7 p.m. Please use the back door. The associate minister unveiled the church's new tithing program slogan for this year. I upped my pledge. Up yours. And then the church will host an evening of fine dining, super entertainment, and gracious hostility. So check in with your bodies right now. Check into how you're feeling. Notice the shift a little laughter, a spoonful of humor can help you with. Now, the art of using humor when there's a lot of suffering going on, when there's a lot of challenge going on, the art is not to use it as spiritual bypass, but to use it as a little levity so that we can begin to remember who we are, so we can bring ourselves back to a place of groundedness. And despite what we see going on in the world, we can find that equilibrium so that we can be used to good purpose, so that we can walk out these challenging days and we can be part of the solution as opposed to part of the problem. And it's just a spoonful of humor, right? Because I know when the world is challenging me, if I've got personal challenges, if I've got things that are happening around me that are hard to deal with, it can be really tempting to check out. Nobody here binges on a Netflix, the latest season of Marvelous Miss Maisel, thank you, came out. And sometimes we need that kind of relief. But it's about being conscious with ourselves. It's about not checking out from our conscious mind and our heart. Because it is our consciousness that is going to guide us. It is our consciousness that's going to direct us for what it's ours to do. And so we want to stay present, but we also want to be in balance. Because there are times when we look out in the world and we see what's going on that it's heart-rendering. It's beyond me that in 2022 we're watching another country invade a sovereign nation. What I know about the last 2 years, and I mentioned this a little bit already, but I want to expand on it a little bit, is that it has been this perfect recipe for what I would call a trauma response. And the trauma response is that when you have so much going on and different things that are hard to deal with, we try to control the things that we can. It's a natural response to that. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who has found themselves trying to control a lot of things. You should have checked in with me around June 2020 as I was desperately trying to figure out how we could go from a community that only did slides to one that was broadcasting on YouTube, Facebook, out there in the world. It was quite a large leap in a small amount of time. And I remember having that experience of all these different moving parts, and I kind of put myself right in the center of it, right? I'm just trying to figure it out, control it, make sure I got this person, and I got that piece of equipment, and I've got this software, and one morning, I got up out of bed knowing I had this long list of things to do, and I was getting ready to check them off, and I got dressed really quietly because I didn't want to wake anybody up. And I walked out to my car, and I got in, and suddenly there's a knock on my window. And there was David. What are you doing? Why are you sneaking out of the house like this? I was in that deep trauma response of trying to control so many things that I had this lost sight of my priorities. And so when we see these horrendous acts that are happening out in the world, I mean, look, our Congresses seem so out of touch. They're still fighting about who has power and control. It has to be a trauma response, because what I know about all human beings, regardless, no exceptions, not one, that we are all made of the same stuff. That each one of us comes from that spark of the divine, that pattern of the intelligence that is forever expressing itself in life. And it's really hard to remember it when I see the behavior, the unacceptable behavior, the horrendous behavior around me. And yet I have to remember that. I have to come back to that. And maybe the only thing I can do, short of checking out and doing the spiritual bypass, is to give myself a little reminder. The story of the movie Life is Beautiful, where the father plays the game with his son. It was an act of love to try to find joy in a place where you and I both know there's nothing joyous about a concentration camp. But there was that little spark of the divine that shows up in each one of us when we try to find a little joy and share it with each other. I don't know what the future will bring. Every day it's something different. But if we can remember to locate ourselves, to remember who we are, to remember where we came from, if we can remember to do that, then we are able to weather any storm. The other thing to know about weathering challenges, global or personal, is that you really can't do it by yourself. The very act of moving through traumatic experiences like we've been having over the last 2 years tends to have us pull in and isolate. And yet that is not where we will find support. That's not where we'll be at our best. Yes, we can do our prayer, we can do our meditation, we can do our spiritual practice, But it's in community that we begin to remember and to reflect the greater truth of who we are, the greater truth of the world despite the events that we're seeing. And so we need each other. And we need a little play. We need a little joy. We need those little respites from what's going on out there so that we can have that presence of mind to know what is ours to do. I remember a time when my beloved daughter was going through her divorce. It was really fresh, it was new, it was hard. And I sat with her and I held her and I held her pain for her. And then after a little bit of that, I said, let's go to the movies. Let's go see a movie. So I took her to the movies. I knew that the intensity and the stress of her pain was, she couldn't make any good decisions from that place, and I needed to help bring her out of that for a little bit so that we could come back again and begin to, well, she was doing the work, not me, trust me, but to begin to navigate the new world that she was walking out in. And so we remember that life presents itself and presents us with opportunities to find little pockets of joy, little pockets of love, little pockets of beauty, because it is scientifically proven, you just Google it, trust me, you'll find all the stats you need, that when we can allow ourselves to lighten up, when we can give ourselves a break from the intensity, that there's some kind of endorphin thing that is going on in our body temple, so that the molecules and all the chemistry that's working in our body can begin to work with us in a way that will help lift us up and keep us healthy. I'm sure you've heard the story of Norman Cousins. He actually was given this horrible diagnosis, and he didn't believe it. He didn't want to just surrender to it. And so he began to do some research, and he got a hold of the same information that I just gave you, that laughter and humor and joy could lift him up. And so he watched hours and hours and hours of comedy. And he lived to a ripe old age. I actually don't know if he's still alive or not. Yeah, that's an old story. But he lived to a ripe old age, and he proved the point that when we can infuse our body with lightness, the lightness of laughter, the lightness of joy, that something happens in us. We need to connect with others when there are challenges. We need to invoke those feelings of compassion and empathy that will help locomote our actions and the things that we do in the world to be part of the solution. But if we stay, if we get down into the soup of the despair and the misery, well, we're no good to anyone. We need to feel our feelings. We need to let our feelings complete. And we need to move through them. So as we move through continuing, I'll say interesting times. We live in interesting times. Now, I'm pretty sure that in 1919, when they were moving through the Spanish flu, and then into the Roaring 20s, that there was somebody who was saying, we're living in interesting times. And I simply share that to remind you that everything has a season. Everything moves through in a way that it comes up, we have our experience, and then it wanes. And so while these times are difficult and they require your attention and your presence, I want to remind you that they're also temporary. There is a wonderful Hafiz poem that I want to end with. And it goes like this. I sometimes forget that I was created for joy. My mind is too busy, my heart is too heavy for me to remember that I have been called to dance the sacred dance of life. I was created to smile, to love, to be lifted up, and to lift others up. O Sacred One, untangle my feet from all the ensnares, free my soul, that we might dance, and that our dancing might be contagious. We forget that we were created to love. We forget that we were created, excuse me, we forget that we were created to experience beauty and joy. And just maybe the reasons when we turn on the news and we see brothers and sisters elsewhere on the planet that are suffering, maybe it breaks our heart because we are somewhere in our soul knowing that we are all made to love and to dance and to have beauty and to be connected. Thank you very much. So let's just take that beautiful Hafiz prayer into our hearts. Let's allow ourselves to feel the support of our chair. And despite the many complexities that we see out in the world, know that it is an open heart that will be our guide. It is an open mind that will help us to know what is the next right step. What is it that is mine to do? What is it that I must do to be the presence of love in my own life and in the world around me? And so in this moment, as we come to this place of deep and profound prayer, we remember that there is love, there is joy, there is beauty, and most especially there is peace. And so as we find that peace within ourselves, allow it to wash through so that we may keep our hearts open, so that we may laugh and find that spoonful of humor so necessary to stay centered and grounded in who we are. Because when I remember who I am, it's easier for you to remember who you are. And so in this week before us, I invite each one to courageously keep your heart open. Trust that the divine moves through that wonderful, fluid, open heart of yours. And that as you find yourself in different situations and conversations with friends, with family, with people you don't agree with, that you can see who they are, and you can see who you are, and that we can lift each other up for the power and the presence of love. Always, when we invoke it, dissolves everything unlike it. So we just breathe deep into that place of love within ourselves. We allow it to be our guiding light, the beacon that carries us forward. We surrender this into the divine, that place that knows all things, is all things, and we simply let it go, trusting. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you. Michael, come on back up.
When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be. There is no life without its hunger. Each restless heart beats so imperfectly. But when you come and I am filled with wonder, sometimes I think I glimpse eternity. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You Thank you.
Michael Garamani. Ah, let's give him another hand. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Michael. It was beautiful, beautiful. It's time for our offering now. And I love this part of the service. It's a very wonderful spiritual practice, sharing our treasure with where we get spiritually fed. So we have baskets at each door for you to drop your donation in. And if you're not in attendance with us here today, you can send us a check through the mail or go to our website, and you can donate there with a credit card. So thank you so much in advance for all your love and all your gifts. So let us say our affirmation together. My offering is my acceptance of God as the source of my supply, and it symbolizes my faith in the abundant flow of this supply.
God, the light of your love is shining in the midst of the darkness shining. Spirit's the light of the world, shine upon us. Set us free by the truth you now bring us. Shine on me.
Shine, Spirit, shine. Fill this world with the power and glory. Blaze, Spirit, blaze. Set our hearts on fire. Flow, river, flow. Flood the nations with grace and mercy. Send forth your love, God, and let there be light. God, the light of your love is present, and we shine with your loving radiance. Shine through us as we help one another. Let us love and take care of each other. Shine on us. Shine on us. Shine, Spirit, shine. Fill this world with the power and glory. Blaze, Spirit, blaze. Set our hearts on fire. Flow, river, flow. Flood the nations with grace and mercy. Send forth your love, God, and let there be light. Send forth your love, God, and let there be light.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael Garamani. Thank you, Diane King-Van, our wonderful music and choir director. Thank you to our beautiful band, David Page, Ed Cuspy, yes, and our guest bass player today, Grant Clarkson. Welcome, welcome. In the sound booth today, we have Josh and Mary, and on the cameras, we have Wayne and Clark, and we're so grateful for all of you. And our oh my gosh, Kimberly and Wade Wooldridge as our lead us in our songs this morning, and will give us our invitations. There's just so many people to help us put this service together for you, because we love you so much. We have practitioners. Would the practitioners please stand? Practitioners are people who have been trained in the art and the science of spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer. Today, our practitioners are Paula Manis, Hans Smith, and Jill Burnett. They're available for you after the service. There's 2 tables in the back and 1 in the Tranquility Room. If you are experiencing a bump in the road, sometimes we have those, and they are there to lift you up and see the truth through the circumstances and through the situations. So take advantage of them. They're wonderful, not that way. They're really wonderful people. Take advantage of their gift for you. Okay. So, Wade and Kimberly.
All right, we had some in somewhere. There you go.
Well, my friends, the game is afoot.
Yes. Get a clue. There's all kinds of fun and games going on here at the center.
The bookstore is building a better mousetrap, and it has so many new books it will boggle your mind. You can scrabble through the CSL list of suggested reads for the year's theme of living everyday wonder. Stop by and check them out. It's no trouble at all.
You will also find a wish list posted in the bookstore. If your old stuff is stacking up like a Jenga tower and recycling is fun for you, bring it to the bookstore and make someone else happy too. You'll feel like a kid in Candyland.
Mexican Train Game Night is on Friday, March 25th at 7 p.m. But it doesn't have a monopoly on fun. Another game has been posted for those who enjoy more active forms of play, and it's quite the operation.
Wade and Kimberly, hey, that's us, are inviting you to play pickleball at our place in Mission Viejo on Sunday, March 27th. That's 2 weeks from today at 2 p.m. So sign up on the kiosk and we'll contact you with further details. There's no risk to you to attend, so you should go or you'll be sorry.
The password is sharing. The book club has finished reading book 2 of the Conversations with God trilogy and is moving on this Wednesday to book 3. Now, this is no trivial pursuit.
There is a list of all the weekly small group meetings on the table in the back of the room, so you can connect with other people. These small groups on Zoom are a good way to find yourself some like-minded playmates for the game of life.
At noon today, right here in the sanctuary, there will be a small group meeting live and in person. Conscious Connection is an apples-to-apples discussion about today's topic, facilitated by Mastermind Mary Brogdon.
Next Sunday after the service, there will be a reception in honor of Bill Dixon, our bass player and favorite Rock'em Sock'em robot, who is retiring from the band. So, you hungry hippos, stick around for some cake and coffee and give Bill your good wishes.
And I just want to add, there is a big card over there at the entryway, so please, if you want to say 2 words, goodbye, farewell, good luck, that would be wonderful. He'd appreciate that.
And now, if it's not too much aggravation, would you all please stand and join us in the closing song? Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let there be peace on earth. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and now it begins with me.
And so, as we walk through this week, let peace begin with me. Let each one of us know that peace is at hand and that each one of us can walk it out in tiny little steps, day by day, minute by minute. And now it has begun with me, and so it is.